Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the PowerTalk Show powered by Business Talks Weekly. Our guest today is a tech entrepreneur who started his journey back in Italy and moved to San Francisco to build a AI agent platform. Hamza Ali, co-founder of Olostep. Hi, Hamza. Welcome to the PowerTalk Show.
Thanks for having me. I grew up in Italy. I did high school and university here in Italy. Then around like a year ago, I moved to San Francisco to build Olostep, the startup I'm working on. The story was unusual because like I'm from a small city in northern Italy, and going to San Francisco was like the last thing I expected. But with like a series of events, I found myself there. Basically, we had started the company before. We were working with some startups in SF. We went there to meet them, and we were there working at their office, like building on the product. And one of the startups said, like your product is really good. You should talk with my investors. And he introduced us to his investor, like in SF. And we talked one day and they decided to invest. And they said, okay, we will finance you and we hope you relocate here in SF. And so that's how we found ourselves in San Francisco.
Wow, wonderful. That's an interesting journey. So, when you talk about your product, you're talking about Olostep. Can you tell us a bit about Olostep and what does it do? Who does it cater to?
Yeah. Olostep is basically like the programmatic web layer for AI to access and interact with the web. So basically, we're building this API that AI companies use to go on the web, retrieve data, structure the data, make it AI ready, and also interact with the web to perform tasks and automations. Our customers are mainly B2B, so like we are B2B, and our customers are like seed to Series E startups and scale ups in San Francisco and New York. Basically, we work like with companies like Gumloop. They have raised a 70 million Series A. OpenMart, Profound, they have raised like a Series B led by Sequoia a week ago. Companies of that sort that are scaling really fast. And what they need is like an API that can go on the web, retrieve data, because all AI companies need an interface, a real-time interface to the web. And we are providing that interface. So basically humans have browsers and AIs need something equivalent, like humans interface with the web through a browser. And we are trying to build the equivalent for the AI era for AI agents.
Understood. So when you talk about browser, I saw that you provide Chrome based extension or a browser extension to your platform. How does that work? Does it take information from my browsing history or my browser data and then store it into your platform? Can you just tell us how it works in the background?
Yeah, sure. No, it doesn't collect your personal data. Like what we are interested in, like our customers, for example, need to retrieve public web data. To do that, we have built this infrastructure that allows us to do this through like either apps or browser plugins. And what we do is like we take publicly available data, so it doesn't have to do anything with your browsing history. Yeah. So also here was a little bit unusual. So I co-founded my startup with my brother, who is like a computer science student at Stanford, like he finished his freshman year. And actually, he had the first conversation with investors and he was there. And also, there was a little bit unusual. So we went to SEF. Then one of our investors lived in New York. We had to book an Airbnb in New York at the last time. We weren't able to find Airbnb at the last time. So this investor offered to host in his house. And the last day we had to come back to Italy, they offered a term sheet. And like that's a little bit how we got funded.
And working in Italy and growing your company in Italy and moving to San Francisco, what sort of different culture do you find in Europe and back in Silicon Valley or San Francisco?
Yeah, like I grew up in Italy and I love this place. It's beautiful, but like everything is happening in San Francisco in California. And like it's the right place to be, especially like for anyone that is building a tech company in the AI space. Like it's an incredibly vibrant ecosystem. You every day, like at every corner, you see people building companies, you see people building products. You're inspired like by also the level of ambition that people have there, and it helps you like dream bigger. And then on a more practical side, like all the talent is there, like it's concentrated in that place. So While Italy is beautiful, like for vacation and like to live here with family, San Francisco has its own place, like especially in the tech ecosystem, in the AI ecosystem. Yeah. So far, as I was saying, like we were mainly focused on like accessing the web to help AI companies get data and structure this data for their AI applications. We are seeing that this market is exploding. If you use ChatGPT search, deep research, they need a connector to the web. If you use Perplexity, you need a connector to the web. If you're a developer and you use products like Cursor, they have coding agents. Coding agents need to interface with the web. So for the next 6 months to 1 year, we will be mainly focused on just providing this connector to the web to AI companies. But in the meantime, we're working on this other product, which is an extension of what we are doing so far. So once we have established like the access to the web, we want to enable all companies building AI automation. So like if you're building an agentic e-commerce, we are building that browser for AI agents that you can use not just to access the web for mainly data retrieval or data structuring, but also to complete tasks on the web. In the next 2 to 3 years, we are going to see AI going to automate most tasks that are done by humans. Most tasks that humans do, they are done through a browser. And we want to be there when the AI models improve so that we can help automate all those tasks that right now are so repetitive and take so many human hours. We want to be that platform that allows AI agents to automate all those tasks.
What is the biggest challenge currently to grow and scale a AI company?
Yeah, there are a few challenges. One, like on a technical side, it's incredibly hard to build a platform that actually works because there are a lot of demos outside. There are a lot of companies that make cool video. And then when you actually go and use the product, it's simply not there, or it doesn't make business sense because it's too expensive, or it's not reliable. So it works one time and it doesn't work for the next 4 times. So we are really focused on like three core principles. Like one is being extremely reliable, the other is being scalable, and the other is being cost efficient. So that is really hard. Like it's not something glamorous, but there are a lot of technical challenges that we have to solve. So like that is a big challenge. Then obviously now like it's becoming sort of cliche. It's like people say, okay, now building, everybody can build. We don't believe that's true, but let's say that's true. The other big hard part is like distribution. And that's also another problem we have, and we need to focus more on that part. So like how we can reach out to people, and how can people know about us so that they can adopt the solution. So I would say these two are the biggest challenges for us, technically making sure the product actually is there.
Yeah, makes sense. So, Hamza, you spoke about distribution challenges. What is your go-to market strategy so far?
Yeah. So far, like since we work mainly with startups, like we are not getting to developers, we only work with startups, mainly C to Series A. That is our sweet spot. Then we also onboard some scale ups, Series B or Series E. But the go-to-market strategy for us has been mainly word of mouth for now. Like these startups, like almost like 10 of our companies are YC, and they talk with each other and they refer each other. The second is we are building this referral system for these startups. And the other more general is like generative engine optimization. So like make sure that our platform gets recommended by ChatGPT, gets recommended by Perplexity, gets recommended by these AI models when you ask them something. So we are optimizing our generative engine visibility.
What is the biggest difference between using an AI platform and having an AI agent with different modules, maybe for writing a content, maintaining a website, and other process management tasks related AI agents? So, what is the core difference? How does it help a user like me?
Okay. So like using AI agents can help you automate most of your stuff. So for example, if you're building a podcast, you could make like what I would recommend, instead of like a general AI agent, like some companies propose that can do everything. We are seeing that the best approach is like building very specialized AI agents. So in your case, it could be an AI agent that helps you research around a company that you want to talk with, or research a person you have a podcast with. So you would have an AI agent. You can tell him like, go on the web and research me about this person, about his background. and give me a snippet about this. So it can save you time there where you don't have to manually go and do the research. Then you could build another AI agent that can help you making the editing faster. So a very specialized AI agent that can cut all the non-important part of a podcast and give you just the snippet that you can actually use and post on your website. Then you could have another AI agent just for YouTube or just for Instagram. So instead of like having a whole 20-minute podcast, you have an AI agent that watches your video, that's which are the parts that could be useful for Instagram or TikTok, and just gives you that 60 seconds clip or that 30 seconds clip out of that podcast that is ideal for those platforms. So this is how we see that AI agents can be used in production also from different consumers.
So, Hamza, what has been your biggest lesson so far in your journey?
Biggest lesson, one, it's very hard to build a company, and the second is like having very like surrounding yourself with smart people. Like I'm very lucky to be working like with my brother, and that has been extremely helpful because we knew each other like since like he was born, and there is that element of trust. So like when there are disagreements, we can solve them pretty easily, like without having to kick each other, and that is very valuable. So like this is like really hard, and having good people around you helps in building something cool.
Hamza, one final question, and I ask this to all my guests. One piece of advice that you received that changed your perspective professionally and personally.
Think it would be the advice from my father, which is like always make sure that every day you learn something new. Like our parents, like we come like from Asian family, like they always insist like a lot on education and on learning. And like since we were little kids, like it has always been insisted upon us like every day to spend time learning something new, like actually improving. Like it's not just working. You could work 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day. But if you go to sleep and you haven't learned something new, it's a wasted day. Instead, if you spend every day learning something new, eventually that will compound and you will start seeing results.
Absolutely. That's a great piece of advice. Learn something new every day. Thank you so much, Hamza. Thank you so much for giving us the time and coming to a podcast. It was a wonderful conversation.
Thanks a lot for having me, and it was a pleasure.